What's up, Bills Mafia? I got 5 bold predictions for this Buffalo Bills defense heading into the 2023 NFL season. But before we get to that, let's get to that intro.
This is PZ Music.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I always forget to tell you. Well, Bills Mafia, I got 5 bold predictions for this Buffalo Bills defense heading into the 2023 NFL season with a bonus prediction as well. So, once again, I want to thank Bills Wire for creating this article, and let's get this thing started. All right. 5 bold predictions. So the first one is Von Miller is the sack leader. Von Miller leading the Bills in sacks seems obvious, right? Not so much. He did not last year due to his knee injury. Now he's set to miss the first 4 games of next season due to the same issue as he remains on the PUP list. But even in missing those 4, the prediction will still be Miller leading Buffalo in the sack department. He was far and away the Bills' best pass rusher when he was on the field. Listen, I mean, he's Von Miller. He's a Hall of Famer, right? I don't agree with that. And I'll tell you why. I think him missing the first 4 games, I actually think he'll miss more. I think he will return week 6. And I think he'll have a limited snap count for the first 2 games when he returns back. So that's how I see it. I could be wrong. I'm listen, guys. No, I'm not an expert here at Von Miller's knee, right? Or what's going on in Sean McDermott's head, right? But we all know already he is on the PUP list, so he's missing the first 4 games. I don't see him traveling, or I'm sorry, I see him traveling to London. I don't see him playing against the Jags in London. I do see him playing against the Giants when we return home to Buffalo, but probably a limited snap count. And the reason why is because it'll be his first action, right? And it's going to be a little rusty, probably. And you don't want to just give him a high snap count right away. To me, that makes sense, right? To limit it a little bit until he, is ready to go. And by the way, it's Sean McDermott's style anyways. And I don't blame him, especially if he takes it a little bit slow with Von Miller when he gets back. So I just don't see him leading the team in sacks this year. And I'll mention the guy who I think will be the leader in sacks for the Buffalo Bills. But once again, would it surprise me if Von Miller led this team in sacks this year? No, because he's that dude, right? All right, so let's get to the next one. Greg still gets double digits. While Miller will lead the Bills in sacks per our prediction, there's still room for Gregory Russo. He had Buffalo's most sacks in 2022 with 8.5. If Miller is on the field for the remainder of next season after a spell on the PUP list, Russo almost feels like a lock for his first 10-plus sack year. Think Jerry Hughes across from Mario Williams. Man, Mario Williams was a dog. He was a beast. And so is Jerry Hughes, man. I think Bills Mafia a little bit too tough on him on the way out. I love Jerry Hughes, man. Jerry Hughes was that dude. We got a steal. When we traded for him, that was a steal of a trade, in my opinion. He was Buffalo through and through. While he was here, he was just that dude. So I think we owe Jerry a little bit more credit than a lot of Bills Mafia gives him while he was here in Buffalo. But anyways, back on Gregory Russo. So I think Gregory Russo for sure gets 10-plus sacks this year. Listen, man, I told you guys when this dude was drafted, he had such a high ceiling. He's still getting better. He's still getting bigger, faster, stronger. and he's learning from guys like Von Miller, from Leonard Floyd, some of the best to do it, right? And I think under this Sean McDermott's defense, this aggressive style defense that McDermott's throwing out there, I think this benefits Gregory Russo big time. And I think Gregory Rousseau, if I had to give a bold prediction, I think Gregory Rousseau gets, I'm going to go 13 sacks on the season, possibly 14, but I'll stick with 13. 13 sacks, and I think he leads the team in sacks. I think Von Miller's around that 8 to 10 range. I'm going to go with the middle. I'll go 9 with Von Miller, and that's a very good season considering he's missing the first 5 games, in my opinion. We already know 4, but I think he misses that Jags game, and I think he has limited snap count for the first few games. So I'm going to say 9 on Von Miller, which is a very good season considering everything I just said. So Gregory Rousseau will lead the team in sacks, in my opinion. With 13 to 14, I'll go with 13. All right, next on this list, Tre'Davious White has most interceptions. Knee injury mentions shall continue here. Cornerback Tre'Davious White returned from his own last season. His play was spotty at times, and White was certainly not the all-pro corner we were used to. Let's predict he's back in 2023. Sometimes outsiders can forget how difficult returning from such a serious injury can be. Physically, players aren't usually back to their normal self for 2 years. Plus, there's the mental side of it. All things considered, the timeline says White will be back, fully back, this upcoming year. Let's see him lead the Bills in interceptions. Okay, so here's my opinion on that. I don't think he does. He's never been high on interceptions while in Buffalo. Matter of fact, if you want to compare him to Jordan Poyer, who I think will lead the Buffalo Bills in interceptions this year, they both got here. And Tre'Davious White was drafted in 2017. Jordan Poyer came here as a free agent in 2017. Jordan Poyer has 22 interceptions to Tre'Davious White with 17. Tre'Davious White's more of a lockdown defender, but he's not like Mr. Interceptions. They just don't throw his way. A lot of quarterbacks avoid throwing, towards, Trey White, right? They don't really like going his way because he's that kind of a sticky defender. He always makes a play on the ball. He just doesn't lead the league in interceptions. It's just not his thing. He's more of a sticky defender. But I will say they are correct. Last year, and I told you guys when in the offseason last season that it was going to be a bit before Trey White came back. And a lot of you guys didn't believe that. You guys thought that he'd be back week 1. I kept telling y'all this ACL thing, especially your first time around, not every player reacts the same. Not every player is Adrian Peterson, who can return week 1 and have this unbelievable season, right? A lot of these guys, mentally and physically, it takes a while for them to get right. And it took him a while. And I think it was more mental for him, especially towards the middle of the season when they were preparing for him to come back. He came back towards the tail end of the season, and he just was not right. You could see it in his attitude as well. Like, he just mentally was not there. And I get it, because he probably just physically wasn't able to do what he's used to do. But now he's had a whole off season. His knee is 100%. He's looking like the old Trey as far as even mentally goes. He's happy. All right. You could see him just, joking with his teammates, having a good time. He really wasn't doing that last year when he returned. And once again, I get it. That's a crazy injury, especially when you're, one of the best in the league at what you do. And then you come back and you're not what you wore, you know what I mean? Because you're still dealing with a little bit of soreness or whatever, so I get it. But I just don't think he'll lead the team in interceptions. That's not his thing. I think Jordan Poyer has been a ball hawk. Last year, by the way, Jordan Poyer was, you guys know, he missed games. He was hurt all year. He had that elbow thing going on. Then he had the ribs thing going on. So last year he had 4 interceptions. And the year before, by the way, 2021, he had 5. So I think Poyer once again gets around that 5-6 range this year for the Buffalo Bills. He's like I said, he's another player that's back to feeling good physically, and just signed that contract. So I just feel like Jordan Poyer being back with Micah Hyde is going to help Jordan Poyer get those interceptions, and he will lead the Buffalo Bills in interceptions, in my opinion. All right, next up, bottom to top in blitzing. All right, Sean McDermott took over play calling for the Bills defense. Buffalo's longtime defensive coordinator and Leslie Frazier parted ways with the team this offseason. One difference we saw on the preseason, aggressiveness. McDermott's unit looked like it will be setting the pressure at opposing quarterbacks this year, much more than previously in 2022. The Bills recorded 19.4% blitz rate. That was the 10th lowest in the NFL. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers rounded out the top 10 last season with a rate of 28.3%. A prediction: Buffalo takes a spot in the top 10 with McDermott now calling the plays in 2023. I agree. Listen, excuse me. If you go back to McDermott's history as a defensive coordinator, going way back to Philadelphia when he was under Jim Johnson, who was known as a super aggressive defensive coordinator. He learned under him. That was his mentor. And when he took over the keys in Philadelphia as DC, I think he was a tad bit aggressive, and it got him fired because he was just overboard with it. And listen, once again, he was a rookie DC. He probably just, a little bit over his head at that point, was trying to go too much of the Jim Johnson way, and it cost him there in Philadelphia. However, when he went to Carolina, he got a little bit more kind of balanced, right? But he still was that aggressive style coach, defensive coordinator. But he knew how to balance it out a little bit at times, right? To make it right, make it work. And that Carolina defense, while Sean McDermott was there, I believe 3 seasons, was a top 5, top 10 defense, I believe. Every single year, I think it was top 5. Every single season while Sean McDermott was there. Got him to a Super Bowl, actually. And that's the kind of defense that I'm expecting here this season in 2023 under Sean McDermott. Aggressive, but yet smart defense. Listen, this is no knock on Leslie Frazier and what he did here, because this defense under Leslie Frazier was a top 10 defense while he was here, no doubt about it. But the bend don't break defense, unfortunately just failed us in the playoffs year after year, in my opinion. And I think that was just the reason why Frazier and the Bills decided to part ways. It just wasn't working anymore. And, Sean McDermott needs to figure out what, how to get over that hurdle, that wall in the playoffs that he's been hitting. And me personally, I think it's been coaching, and a big part of that has been defensive play calling. So I think Sean McDermott and the Bills parted ways with Frazier. For that reason, they want to see if McDermott can figure this out with the defensive play calling. But I agree. I think the Bills will be in the top 10 in blitz percentage, in my opinion. Blitz rate, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I do. I think Sean McDermott's defense is going to cause a lot of fits for offenses this year. I think a lot of these teams that know us well, especially in the AFC East, have a big surprise coming to them because they're used to what we've usually played, which is that bend don't break soft kind of zone defense that we love playing. And I think they're going to be in for a real surprise when Sean McDermott is throwing a lot of exotic blitz packages out there, and just exotic looks in general. And wait till Von Miller returns. And that's going to be a scary thing, because then you got Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, and Gregory Russo all on the field at the same time, in different packages. It's going to be scary. Not to mention guys like Taylor Rapp coming inside the box, getting in after the quarterback. You already saw it in the preseason when he was sending DeMar in blitz packages. I expect a lot of linebacker blitzes as well. So this is going to be a fun defense to watch in 2023. So yeah, I agree with that prediction. All right, next on the list. Let's get next on the list, guys. Kiero Elim does not get a start. Ooh, okay. Throughout the summer, the Bills had a three-way battle to determine a starter at cornerback across from White between Dane Jackson, Christian Benford, and Kiero Elim. Elim, a former first-round pick, did not do well. He dropped out of favor pretty quickly. So much so, we're going to predict he makes 0 starts in 2023. Regency bias makes that not look like a bold prediction, but a former first rounder not starting in year 2. That's not normal. And that is the last on this their 5 bold predictions. Listen, yeah, I have to agree with this, man. I think Kiero Elim does not get a start. Will he get playing time? Of course he will. I think he will. But a start, I don't think so. Unfortunately for Kier, he's struggling, getting a hold of this defense. Maybe this defensive scheme is just not for him. And I think the Bills really need to figure out what they're going to do with Kier moving forward. I think Kier Elim has potential to be a very good corner in the NFL. Okay, so don't get me twisted there, guys. I like the guy. What I've seen from him on the field, he has potential to be a very good corner. But I just don't know if he fits this system. And that is the problem. And the Bills, that's the Buffalo Bills problem. They made a mistake then when they drafted him. They should have realized that. But maybe they thought they can mold him into this style of defense that they want. And I just don't think I just think he's struggling a lot. And I think also mentally it's affecting him. Because I saw an interview with him not too long ago where he was saying how he's been one of the best players on his team ever since high school. And now that he's in the NFL, he's not, and he's struggling to cope with that. And yeah, I mean, you got to figure, man, this guy's a first round draft pick last season, high hopes, and week 1 he gets bumped by a 6th rounder in Christian Benford. And then now we're in season 2, and he's once again bumped down the line, and it has to take a toll mentally on him. So I just don't know what the Buffalo Bills will do with Kiero Elim, but they need to make a decision soon, or his value will go tremendously down. Okay, I thought there was a big chance that they would have traded him before the season started, but I still think maybe there's hope for him, and maybe the coaching staff feels that way too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. It's just that whole Kiero Elim thing is starting to worry me a little bit about that, because he is a first round pick, and that is you can't really drop the ball on first round draft picks. But listen, once again, it happens all the time in the NFL. I get it. I'm not going to kill Brandon Beane on that. But like I said, I think they should have known, what this kid was capable of, as far as what style of defense, he tends to play, which is more of a man defense. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with Kier, but they may be right on that. I have a feeling they will be. So now my bonus bold prediction. And that is Leonard Floyd. I think Leonard Floyd gets 10 sacks this season. I think he's going to benefit from Von Miller being out. I think also, listen, Leonard Floyd has averaged 9 sacks for the past 3 seasons. He's a very good player, man. Very good player. And once again, Von Miller missing the first 5-6 games. I think it's going to benefit Floyd. Also, with the Sean McDermott aggressive style defense, I think he's going to see a lot of blitzes as well. So yeah, I'm excited to see Leonard Floyd, and I think he gets about 10 sacks this season. And is that bold prediction? I mean, I don't know. The guy's averaging 9 sacks last 3 seasons, but I'm going to say 10 because I don't think anyone's really talking about Leonard Floyd like they should be, because that was one of our better pickups in the offseason. Because I got to say, if we didn't pick Leonard Floyd up going into the season, we would have had, AJ Epinesa, right? You know what I mean? Like, and Greg, I want to feel comfortable with that, or Shaq Lawson. You know what I mean? Like, and both those players are fine, but I think it would totally change things up a little bit. And I think bringing in Leonard Floyd, a guy that's been there, done that, a guy that is capable of getting those, high sack, high sack amount. And not only that, what he brings to the locker room as far as just his knowledge, right? And he's going to help, like I said, help players out like Gregory Russo, AJ Epinesa, and that's what I loved about the Von Miller signing. It wasn't just what he did on the field; it was what he brought to the locker room. So, anyways, guys, what is your bold prediction for the Buffalo Bills defense heading into 2023? Comment below. I want to know. And Bills Mafia, tomorrow, Thursday night at 7:30 is Mafia Means Family podcast. Support them. He's 12-year-old kid, man, 12, 13, mini Mafia and his mom. This is year 2, season 2 for them doing a podcast on Mafia Sports Report. So support them. Even if you miss it, go ahead and comment on their video. And Friday, me and Mikey will be back at 8:30 with Friday Night Lights. And we are going to be previewing the Buffalo Bills versus the New Jersey Jets. And then Saturday at 6 is the AFC East Shakedown. You don't want to miss that. That is week 1, previewing all the games. We have everybody at that table representing their team, so you don't want to miss that. That's at 6 o'clock. And Bills Mafia, once again, I love you. And as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.